Hello and welcome back to Tidbit of Torah. One of the beauties and also seemingly impossibilities within our tradition is the impulse to hold both justice and compassion, din and rachamim in Hebrew. We see this going back to Abraham. The rabbis identify that the legacy of Abraham and Sarah is to hold these two, to be able to not only follow a line of justice or only a line of compassion, but be able to navigate the world with both and to teach our children to be able to hold both, even as they might be drawn more towards justice or compassion, to be able to understand to be a fully moral person in relationship to one another in this world is to feel both, hold both, know both, and act from both. For without either justice or compassion, our Torah teaches us, we can lead ourselves to be stuck, to lead a world, find a world, to create a world of tyranny, or to create a world of inaction and complacency. In chapter 22 of Exodus and our Torah portion, Parshat Mishpatim, the Torah tells us, you shall not oppress the ger, the stranger, the sojourner, the refugee, the immigrant, however we might choose to translate ger. Why? Because you were gerim. You know what it is to be the stranger from your time in Egypt. And then it goes on in the next verse to say, and you all, you leaders, you people, you shall not ill-treat any widow or orphan. Instead, our suffering leads us to not further victimhood or not to a sense of oppressing others, but rather a sense of empathy and action to create a more just world. And what does God say next? God says that, well, if you don't heed their cry, if you don't act accordingly, if you mistreat the widow or the orphan or the stranger, then I, God, shall hear their cry, and I shall make an outcry, and I shall rage justice and anger forth. And so even God demonstrates a world in which God holds both justice and compassion, that God can actually hear the cry of the oppressed, and God impels us to outcry when we see injustice, when we need to be called to a sense of both justice and empathy. Many of us feel that way today. I record this on February 19th when we await the news and the return of 4 hostages who we've learned will return home in body bags tomorrow. We yet pray for the return of Kafir, Ariel, and their mother, Shiri Bibas, who we prayed for 500 days, awaiting news of their status, of the possibility of them coming home to their families. Many of us dread the news of what tomorrow may bring, and yet others of us feel a sense of needing to outcry. We are holding both deep empathy and compassion for the Bibas family and for all those affected by this waiting, this dreading, this hoping, this not knowing, and also a sense of justice, an outcry for creating a just world, for creating a world where a little 9-month-old baby is not kidnapped, creating a world where their father who just returned home actually is able to reunite with his family. So as we walk through this world and as we hold our children and teach our children, may we find a way to show them that what it means to be unstuck, what it means to be a Jew in this world, is to hold both empathy and justice, to be able to walk the world holding these two, activating these two, crying out, and being able to move forward to create the world in which we can have both in productive tension, productive action once again. Shabbat Shalom. Invite you to pray and hope with me today.